Everyone loves talking about relationship red flags, but what about red flags in interior design? Like bathrooms with no doors or living rooms with 6 awkward doorways. If you're inspecting a new place or about to move into one, these are the things you'll want to spot before they turn into costly regrets. Bad layouts are easy to miss during a quick walkthrough, but they make everyday life harder in ways you won't fully realize until you move in. A good layout separates the home into 3 zones: public, like the living room and kitchen, private, like the bedrooms, and utility, like laundry, bathrooms, and garage. If these zones are all jumbled together, that is a red flag. For example, if a bedroom shares a wall with the kitchen or main living area, you can expect noise and not in a fun way, especially in newer builds with hollow doors and thin walls. Similarly, the service or utility zones aren't just about function, they often act as a buffer between rooms. A mudroom or entry keeps dirt and chaos from spilling into your living space. A walk-in closet or even a hallway can create acoustic and visual separation between public and private zones. Hallways often get dismissed as wasted space, but a well-placed hallway creates a clear transition. It gives a feeling of entering a retreat, not stepping straight from a party into your bedroom. And here's another one. A powder room should never open directly into a dining room or kitchen. No one wants eye contact with the guest while they exit the toilet. Ideally, it should be tucked off a main hallway, central, accessible, but not in full view. And finally, watch out for rooms with too many doorways. One of my subscribers had a living room with 5 evenly spaced openings, which makes decorating the room so much trickier. Luckily, they were just openings, but if those had been doors, it would have been a layout nightmare. If you see something like this when renovating or buying a home, ask yourself, can it be fixed? And if not, is it worth the headache? If you want more help figuring out the right layout for your room, I've got a free guide that covers how to map, measure, and avoid common mistakes so you can make the most out of your space. If you're buying or renting a new place, don't just rely on listing photos and what you see in person. Get measurements whenever you can. Real estate agents have plenty of tricks to make spaces feel bigger than they actually are, from wide-angle lenses to the furniture they choose to put in. Staging is a big part of the illusion. Maybe you've noticed homes decked out with tiny 2-seater sofas, glass coffee tables, and furniture on skinny little legs. It looks open and airy, but none of it reflects real life. There's never any storage, personal items, or anything bulky that actually takes up space. They're using the same small space styling tricks I talked about in my videos on how to make small spaces look and feel bigger. Because yes, they work. But when your 5-seater modular couch arrives and barely fits in the living room, it is not so fun anymore. Photos are even more misleading. They're almost always taken with a very wide-angle lens to stretch the room visually and conveniently skip over the awkward nooks or low ceilings. At a minimum, measure the living room and bedroom as they are usually 2 of the most important rooms in the house. Bring a laser measure if you want to make it quick and easy, because once you've signed the contract, surprise it doesn't fit becomes your problem. Of course, preparing for a new home isn't just about what fits. It is also about making sure your space can function no matter what life throws at you. That is where having reliable backup power is essential, and why I'm excited to introduce today's sponsor, the Bluetti Apex 300 All-in-One Power Station. This isn't just a portable generator, it is an intelligent, expandable whole home power station designed for modern living, whether you're dealing with blackouts, home projects, or even going fully off-grid. First, the setup is genuinely plug and play. You just set it down, plug it in, and it's ready to go. No complicated installation or electrician needed. One of my favorite features is the Bluetti app. You can monitor your battery status, power consumption, get extreme weather alerts, and adjust various settings right from your phone. When it comes to power, the Apex 300 packs a 2765 watt-hour battery and up to 3840 watts output, plus double that for surge for powering high-power startup devices. So whether you're running the fridge, heater, a home office during an outage, or just need to power a bunch of tools for your next renovation, you're covered. Now for those of you thinking long-term, the Apex 300 is fully expandable and future-proof. You can easily add battery packs like I did here and link up to 3 units with 6 batteries each for a total power of up to 58 kWh. You can also go all in with rooftop solar for true energy independence. Plus, it is compact, quiet, and easy to move around. There's also built-in UPS capability with a 20 millisecond switchover. That means even if the grid goes down, your appliances or electronics can keep running without a hitch. And it's not just for inside the home. Take it outside, and it powers high-demand tools like saws or drills, or makes off-grid living and camping totally effortless. The Apex 300 has the lowest self-consumption in its class, using just 20 watts for AC standby, meaning you get longer runtime, more efficiency, and lower operating costs compared to other brands. If you want a single solution for backup power, off-grid adventures, or just more control over your home's energy, check out the Bluetti Apex 300. You'll find the link in the description box below. Big thanks to Bluetti for sponsoring this video. Now, let's talk about something a bit more practical but just as annoying. This one applies whether you're buying or renting, but always check the outlets, especially in rooms where there's potentially electronics like the kitchen, living room, or bedroom. It is a red flag if there are only one or two in a room, or if they're in really inconvenient spots, or worse, when they're placed in a spot in a way that locks you into a single layout. In big open plan spaces, where you might want to float the sofa in the middle of the room, a floor outlet can be such a game changer as it allows you to plug in lamps without running cords across the room. This often gets overlooked because it seems like such a small thing, until you realize there's no outlet to plug in a lamp, or that your king-size bed blocks the only outlet on the wall. There are ways to remedy this, like using a flathead extension or a sofa cord splitter, but having accessible outlets from the start is always the better option. Not all flipper homes are bad, but some of them are red flags wrapped in fresh paint. A good flip can bring an old home back to life when it is done properly, but the bad ones are often rushed, purely cosmetic, and designed to make a quick buck. Here are some signs you're looking at a flip and not necessarily a good one. The whole house is painted one single trendy color, usually some shade of gray or plain white. Sloppy grout work is another dead giveaway. Check the tile in the kitchen and bathrooms, because flippers don't have to live with their mistakes, but a homeowner would have called their contractor back to fix it. Cheap materials and finishes are red flag too. Flippers often use whatever's in stock at the local big box store. If you want to train your eye, go browse the budget vanities, countertops, and tiles at your nearest hardware store. You'll start recognizing them in listing photos. Look for signs the money ran out. Maybe the kitchen has brand new quartz counters but dated honey-colored cabinets, or the whole interior has been redone but the backyard is a mess. And don't forget the stuff you can't see on the surface. Flippers rarely touch the expensive bits: foundation, roof, plumbing, HVAC, hot water, or landscaping, because they don't usually offer the same visual ROI. You can also check how long the current owner has held the property. If it was bought and now resold within 90 days and the price has jumped, you're almost certainly looking at a flip, and possibly a rushed one. Some of these signs are not instant deal breakers, but if you start seeing a few of them together, ask more questions. Hire a trusted inspector in your market, as they will be able to point out shoddy work. But even then, some homes just miss the mark on one crucial thing. Another big thing is not having enough storage. A lot of newer builds skimped on it to save cost, or to maximize the number of bedrooms in order to jack up the price. You'll often find tiny wardrobes in the bedrooms, maybe an awkward closet, and that's it. Some custom-built homes nailed this. There'll be a coat closet or storage near the front door, a linen closet in the hallway, a utility cupboard for cleaning supplies, and maybe even a proper bathroom cabinet for towels and toiletries. It wasn't just about extra space. It was a thoughtful design, especially for families and kids. If you come across a home with well-planned built-in storage, that is a green flag. Because without it, your beautiful open-plan living room might turn into a big pile of clutter real fast. And if you're already dealing with limited built-ins, look for clever ways to add more. Have a nook under the stairs, turn it into a storage closet, or add custom cabinetry. If you ever find yourself struggling to see how your home could look, I've built a tool for that. It's called Room Visualizer AI. You can upload a photo of your room and it shows you a whole new look styled to your taste. It is like seeing your space through a designer's eye instantly. It is in beta and invite only for now, but you can join the waitlist using the link below. Standalone pieces like sideboards, buffets, or bookcases can double as storage and design features in your living room or dining room. And in small homes, even underbed storage or bench seating with hidden compartments can make a big difference. Now, let's zoom out and look at something that affects your home's comfort all day, every day. Let's talk about orientation, where your home sits in relation to the sun and wind. It is one of the biggest factors in how naturally comfortable your space feels and how much natural light you're getting. But this also depends on the climate of where you live. In hot or humid climates, you'll want to design with passive cooling in mind, while in colder climates, you'll be thinking more about passive heating and getting sunlight deep into the space. Most places probably need a bit of both, depending on the season. In Australia, the main solar axis is from the sun's path in the north. So houses that face true north typically get more natural light. In the northern hemisphere, it is flipped, so you're looking at solar south. The basic idea is to put your living spaces and big windows on the side that gets low-angle winter sun and block the high-angle summer sun with horizontal shading. There's also variety across different regions and climate zones, but there's usually resources you can look up online from, like yourhome.gov.au for Australia, that goes in-depth into this. You can also use an app like Shadow Map, which lets you analyze how sunlight and shadows move across a property at different times of day and year. This isn't something most people think to check when inspecting a home, especially when the agent has had the heater or aircon running for hours to make it feel just right. But orientation can be the difference between a house that is freezing and gloomy all winter or sweltering all summer versus one that feels naturally comfortable. So even just understanding the basics or getting a professional to look into it for you can make a huge difference. At the end of the day, orientation isn't a one-size-fits-all. It depends on your climate, your block, and how you live. But trust me, fighting the sun is exhausting. It is much easier to work with it. Another red flag is multi-story homes with no bathroom on the main entrance floor. It is incredibly inconvenient, especially when you're entertaining and your guests have to wander upstairs just to wash their hands. Even a simple powder room near the main living or entertaining area makes a huge difference. You don't need a full shower and tub. Just a toilet and a basin can save everyone the awkward wandering. And it is not just about guests. Think about accessibility. If you've got older family members visiting, or you're dealing with a temporary injury like an ankle twist, you'll want a bathroom you can reach without climbing stairs. And if that doesn't convince you, it also affects resale value. More bathrooms typically means more value, especially if one of them is somewhere useful. And while we're on the topic of bathrooms, ensuite bathrooms deserve their own red flag category. Ensuite bathrooms with no doors are red flag. Unless you live alone, this setup gets old really fast. How are you supposed to go to the toilet in the middle of the night without waking up your significant other awake with the light and sound? And then there's the steam. Without a door and a very strong exhaust fan, that hot shower air floats straight into your bedroom, turning it into a humid box that is just begging for mold. And let's not forget the smells, because nothing says romantic like, well, you get the idea. Unless the ensuite is just a nice secondary bathroom, always go for a proper door. Also on the topic of bathrooms, open or massive double showers without proper heating or steam function installed is another gripe of mine. Yes, they look fancy, but unless you live in tropical climates, they get really cold during winter, and good luck enjoying that spa-like experience. Now, let's end on one that is a little more common, but still drives me crazy every time. It's always tricky figuring out where to put the TV when there's a fireplace in the middle of the room. And honestly, half the time it is not even your fault. Whoever built the home decided the only logical spot for the TV was right above the fireplace. So now, you're stuck craning your neck like you're in the front row of a cinema. It is a common setup, but it is not a good one, as it also throws off the balance of the room and your eye will fixate on a big black box on the upper half of the room. There are a couple of ways to fix it. You can install a bracket like a mantle mount, which lets you pull the TV down in front of the fireplace so it is actually at eye level. Or, if you have the space for it, mount the TV on a wall perpendicular or beside the fireplace and arrange your main seating towards the TV instead. Another option is to consider a frame TV so it looks like an artwork instead of a giant black rectangle. The goal is to make your TV blend in, instead of being the center of attention. If you enjoyed this video, check out this video on the most common home renovation regrets, and this video on the 9 non-negotiable rules for a beautiful home. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.